Secrets of the desert elephants, guardians of the Namib. Their footprints are not just impressions in the sand. They are chronicles of survival, ancient messages that speak of struggle, determination, and the wisdom of generations. To follow the tracks of a desert elephant is to read a story older than memory, written across the dunes of the Namib Desert in Namibia. Here, on Africa's southwestern edge, lies the oldest desert on Earth. The Namib has existed for more than 50 million years, shaped by roaring winds, merciless sun, and the Atlantic Ocean's fog that creeps inland at dawn. Rain is a luxury. On average, less than 3 inches fall in a year, often in sudden downpours that flood the parched land and vanish as quickly as they arrived. Days can blister at 120 degrees Fahrenheit, while nights drop to freezing cold. It is in this land of extremes that fewer than 200 elephants cling to existence. They are not a separate species, but their way of life has shaped them into something extraordinary. Their legs are longer and leaner, their bodies slimmer, their feet wider, and their behavior more cautious than their savanna cousins. Where other elephants would perish, these desert wanderers endure. A new life against the odds. In the heart of this wilderness, a calf is born. Her arrival is nothing short of a miracle. In this valley, not a single newborn elephant has survived the first 6 months of life for nearly a decade. The moment she takes her first breath, the odds are already stacked against her. Standing is her first battle, wobbling under the hot desert sun, her mother's trunk guiding her upward. Elephants carry their young for 22 months, the longest pregnancy of any mammal. And in this desert, mothers nurse their calves for up to 6 years, far longer than elsewhere in Africa. The reason is simple. Food and water are too scarce for calves to grow independent any sooner. Every sip of milk is a lifeline. Around her, the female family herd stands guard. Elephant society is matriarchal, and survival here depends on unity. The matriarch, often the oldest female, holds the memory of where to find hidden springs, the safest paths through sandstorms, and which trees will bear fruit in the harshest years. Without her knowledge, the herd would be lost. The wanderer of the sands. Far away, an old bull walks alone. His life is measured not in years, but in footsteps, tens of thousands of miles traced across this desert. By his 40th birthday, he has walked the equivalent of circling the earth 3 times. He is a giant cartographer of memory, carrying in his mind a mental atlas of every waterhole, every shade-giving tree, every ancient riverbed that might still hide a pocket of moisture. Unlike savanna elephants, he never topples trees. Destruction here would be a death sentence. Instead, he prunes branches with precision, leaving the trees alive to feed him again in years to come. He knows the value of Anna tree seed pods, protein-packed treasures that fall like gifts from the desert sky. To him, they are the equivalent of survival rations, sustaining his massive body on long journeys. Each day, he consumes nearly a quarter of a ton of bark, leaves, and fruit. The moisture in these plants allows him to survive days without drinking. His broad, cushioned feet, adapted over generations, carry him smoothly across dunes that would swallow other animals. Love and legacy in the dunes. When the bull encounters a herd, his purpose is twofold: connection and legacy. Among the elephants is a matriarch who has successfully raised 4 calves in a place where most mothers lose theirs. Their bond is old, renewed with each visit. He lingers with her family, showing tenderness to her young ones. He may nuzzle them, share food, or stand protectively in the shade, but survival always overshadows sentiment. For the mothers, milk is the currency of survival, and milk depends on water. In times of extreme drought, females may delay breeding, for the risk of losing calves is too high. It is this fragile balance that makes desert elephants among the most vulnerable populations in the world. Trials of the young. Back in the newborn's herd, her first lesson in survival arrives quickly. Her mother, still inexperienced, lets her oversleep while the rest of the family pushes forward in search of water. By the time mother and calf stir, the herd has gone. Only one ant stays behind, unwilling to abandon them. The 3 struggle to catch up, the midday sun merciless overhead. The calves' tiny legs stumble through the sand. Then, as if the desert itself conspires against them, a sandstorm sweeps across the valley. The wind howls, drowning the mother's calls for help. Visibility drops to nothing, and each step becomes a battle. At last, as the storm subsides, the matriarch hears her daughter's desperate calls. The herd slows, waiting until the stragglers rejoin. For the calf, this is her second day of life, and already she has learned the core principles of survival. Never stop moving, never give up, and always stay with family. A landscape written in memory. The Namib is vast, stretching nearly 55,000 square miles, an expanse larger than Greece. To survive here requires movement. Herds may walk more than 100 miles in a week, guided by knowledge passed from grandmother to granddaughter. For the solitary bull, the challenge is even greater. His nearest waterhole may be 50 miles away. He travels mostly at dusk and dawn, conserving energy, and sleeps no more than 2 hours in a day. Every pit stop is a miracle. Some waterholes are fed by underground rivers that traveled from the mountains hundreds of miles away. Others are shallow pools that appear only after floods. The elephant's ability to find them is legendary, and their knowledge of these oases ensures not only their own survival, but that of countless other species, antelope, birds, even predators, that rely on elephants to dig into dry riverbeds and expose water. The future of the desert giants. Today, climate change is tightening its grip on the Namib. Droughts grow longer, storms more violent. Human activity adds pressure. Expanding farms and settlements reduce the elephant's range, while conflict over water pits people against wildlife. And yet, these elephants endure. They are living testaments to resilience, teachers of adaptation. Scientists and conservationists now work tirelessly to protect them, not only for their own sake, but because they embody the fragile balance between life and land in one of the harshest environments on Earth. For the newborn calf, survival will depend on everything her family can teach her: how to read the wind, how to follow the faint scent of rain, how to endure hunger, and above all, how to stay together. If she lives long enough, she may one day lead her own family, carrying with her the memory of every trial she faced. Her story, like the footprints in the sand, will fade with the wind. But the legacy of the desert elephants remains, proof that even in the most unforgiving landscapes, life finds a way.